What's up, guys? Today we're going to take a small break from college football and talk about Madden 25. And that's because EA did drop a gameplay first look video because we're only 1 week away from Madden 25, believe it or not. It's right around the corner. College football has definitely closed the gap of what seems like a long time waiting for the new game. And I'm grateful to college football for that. But yeah, we're very close. And I'm just going to go through this video and talk about the main gameplay changes or enhancements so you guys know what to expect when the game drops next week. The first change is going to be the kicking meter. Now, if you play college football, you probably recognize this. It's a very similar kicking system, but the UX is going to be a little bit different. And one thing I want to say about the kicking meter is it's not really going to matter on kickoffs, but on actual field goals, kicks are quite a bit harder. So if you guys haven't played college football, get ready to practice your kicks because it is quite a bit more difficult. I don't know how bad it's going to be with being the away team or whatever. I don't think that's going to be as much of an issue as it is in college. But yes, the new kick meter is a big deal. And the last thing I'll mention about this is notice how they implemented the new NFL rule where the special teams units are not going to move until the receiver catches the ball. So that is going to be different as well. So one of the main things that they've been pushing all offseason is Boom Tech. First of all, terrible name. Whoever came up with that should feel bad about themselves because that's just corny. But Boom Tech is basically a reworked hit stick system, and it does serve its purpose. It is a higher risk, high reward when it comes to landing hit sticks, and it does give you some good visual feedback. So I will say it's not like a terrible thing that they've implemented, but it's also kind of like a buzzword that they keep pushing, and I don't want people to think that like this is a revolutionary thing. It's just you get some visual feedback, and the hit sticks are slightly harder to land, and you'll cause maybe more fumbles. So just to kind of dumb it down, or I guess make it more concise for you guys, Boom Tech is good. It's just not like the most crazy thing ever. Oh, and I almost forgot, there's one more thing I should mention about this. There is a timing-based element to this, so you can definitely just not time it right, and this is what's going to happen. Like, you're not going to secure the tackle. They might just bounce around a little bit. It's not like the worst thing ever, but, you will get penalized for not timing up your hit stick properly. Before we continue the video, make sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss that Madden 25 content once I start dropping it next week. And then make sure to join our Discord. You can find a link to that in the description as well as a comment section. I can help you guys out with Madden, help you guys get better at college football as well. And it's just a great place to be, so join our Discord. Next, we have a ball carrier balance system rework. And basically what they say here is that there's going to be more physics-driven broken tackles as well as stumbles and stumble recoveries, and that there's going to be less scripted outcomes because of this new reworked physics system. Next up, we have reworked skill moves, more specifically the juke move. This is something that the developers definitely admitted was a little overpowered, and it was also just not very realistic, so they've decided to rework the juke move, make it a little bit more lifelike, and it still looks pretty good. I think it's still going to be usable, but it definitely doesn't look as warpy as they said, and a little bit overpowered. And to kind of stay on the topic of ball carriers, they did add some new locomotion sets that are going to give these players, their real life running styles. So like you see with Pacheco, this is definitely how he runs in real life, like he's just pounding turf. And then apparently, the lighter backs are going to feel lighter. That remains to be seen, but that's just something that they've claimed. Next, we have new visual feedback regarding the ball landing spot. So this is going to have to do with the quarterback's accuracy. And we're going to get visual feedback in the form of these markers where we have different colors. So green is going to mean 100% catchable. Yellow is likely catchable. And then red means probably uncatchable. So the next two things I want to talk about in tandem because they do kind of have to do with each other. So the first thing is how the quarterback can throw the ball now. So you can apparently put more zip on the ball, which is going to create more of a line drive effect. But that does lower the trajectory of the ball. And that's bad news because linebackers can now animate again. So they have brought back jumping linebackers. This is going to be great news for those of you who love base sets, 3-4 odd formations of that nature, because linebackers are good again. And honestly, in college football 25, I've been using 3-4 odd, and linebackers are great. Honestly, they're so good in coverage. They might be better than my cornerbacks at covering receivers, which obviously that's not a good thing in regards to being realistic, but it is nice to have these formations back and usable again. The next topic is a big one in the competitive community, and that is knockout abilities. So they didn't mention too much about it in the video, but what they did mention is that there will probably be less knockouts because it's going to be more forgiving. You need to be a little bit more on time for these knockouts to happen because, in Madden 24, it feels like these knockouts they activate on everything and they knock out everything. So I think they realized this, they've acknowledged it, and they have tuned it. But knock on wood, we'll see how that turns out whenever these knockout abilities are there on day one. Next, we have the new pass protection menu. So if you play college football, you're very familiar with this already. And if you haven't, you guys are going to love this feature. This is one of the greatest things that they've added to their games, like one of the best features, because it just adds way more flexibility to how you can pick up blitzes and stuff. And honestly, the visual feedback is great. You used to just kind of have to guess who was targeting who, but now you see it in real time, who each blocker is targeting. And that's just great in regards to labbing up pass protection and just feeling more comfortable before you snap the ball. So whenever the game drops, I'll go into these more in detail, but as you can see, we now have half slides, which is just kind of sliding half of your line. Full slides are what you're more accustomed to. That's what was in Madden previously. Then we have two new ones in empty and base. But again, I'll talk about these more once the game comes out. So one of the bigger changes that they've made to catching the ball is that you can now kind of do these spec catches on command. So you can see like the one-handed catch. This is going to give you like a bigger catch radius, but it doesn't come without some cons. You are more susceptible to knockouts and drops, so it isn't the worst thing in the world, but it does have to do with your spec catch rating. So if you have a high spec catch, you're going to be able to consistently pull off these catches. And if you have like a really high spec catch, then this might be OP, because you might be able to like get a really tall guy, do some high balls, and improve your catch radius with these spec catches. And who knows how busted that could get, but we'll wait till we get the game before we make any judgments on that. But it is kind of cool that they've made it so you can do flashier plays whenever you want. And to stay on the topic of catching, they did change possession catches so that they are going to be a little bit more responsive. So like, there's been many times where you can call for a possession catch and, you'll just get canceled out of it and you just won't get your animation. And apparently they've made some changes to making it so your feedback is going to be registered more often. And one of the things they did do was rework the hot route menu. So you're going to notice that you can put your wide receivers on like corners and posts now, even if you don't have, wide receiver apprentice, slot apprentice, outside apprentice, all of that. You no longer need those to call corner routes and post routes, all the good stuff. But unfortunately, they did take out zigs, which in my opinion, that's a pretty big deal because it's one of the best man-beating routes in the game. But they did give us corners, so it's kind of hard to complain. You don't need slot apprentice anymore for these corner routes. So overall, I like the change to the hot route menu, and it's going to open up a lot of offenses because, that was one of the things that was lacking is, sometimes you just didn't have like a corner route from your tight end or something, or a post route from your tight end, and you needed tight end apprentice, or the formation was unusable. So I do like that they've done this. Another massive change to how receivers run routes are custom stems. So you can now adjust all of your routes, or I'd say most of your routes, by increments of 5 yards, either down or up. So you can make, your corner routes as far down the field as you want, or you can make them as short as you want, which in College Football 25, stemmed down corners are very, very good. I assume those are going to be very good in Madden 25. So just like I mentioned earlier about the hot route menu, this is a great change that's going to open up a ton of formations, make things much more viable. Don't get me wrong, gun bunch still going to be the best formation in the game, but this is definitely going to open up the creativity because you can now kind of create your own plays with these stems. And then on the defensive side of the ball, we have switch stick now. So we have it in college football, but it's going to be in Madden now. And for those of you who just have no idea what it is, basically it just allows you to switch your user defender mid-play with your right stick. So basically the ball is snapped, you're usering your player, you flick your right stick in the direction of the user or the defender you want to user, and it takes you to him. And it's really, really nice. It's actually one of the best features they've ever added to one of their games. It's right up there with like zone drops and stuff like that. So very good feature with a ton of use case scenarios, and I'll be sure to go in depth with that whenever the game drops. And the last thing I'm going to mention is star-driven play calls. So they claim there's over 900 new plays for star players, including like this Debo package, which I feel like is already in the game already. I might be wrong, but I feel like they're gaslighting us into thinking this is new. But yeah, just let me know in the comment section if I'm tripping, because I vaguely remember it, but I definitely don't know for sure. But it does make me a little pessimistic about these so-called 900 new plays. Like, let's be real, there's not like 900 unique plays that have never been in Madden before. That's definitely not the case. And then there's also going to be a ton of garbage plays that are just complete trash because of they can't code good animations that are usable. So forgive me for being pessimistic, but I need to see good plays before I give them any credit. Anyways, that's going to be it for the gameplay breakdown. Hopefully this helps you guys out. Please drop a like if it did. Then if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe because I'll be posting that Madden 25 content very, very soon. It's only 1 week away. So see you guys then.